Hugh Rounder here. Welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of this individual hand breakdown. And if you haven't seen part 1, there's a link to it on the screen, and go back and watch that. And we are going to keep going right where we left off. I'm going to leave likely future bluffs alone. I'm just going to put in 60 there because we know that there's probably going to be 60 that we need. But what I want to do is work on the betting range, and then we will sort of hash out what bluffs we want to check and what bluffs we want to bet. And we'll talk about some reasons for each as we get there. So let's talk about strong value bets. Now, equity isn't a perfect measure of whether or not a hand is, a good value bet or not. But in general, if it's got over 80% equity, we can probably assume it has the potential to be bet on all three streets. So I would say that we've got, we're checking back jacks, but I would say that aces through queens are going to be strong value bets. We have ace jack, king jack, queen jack, probably also going to be good enough to bet all three streets. So we've got ace jack offsuit, king jack. Or sorry, let's kind of go in order here. So sorry, let's go with the pretty much our really good hands first. So let's start with fives and fours, and then we've got our two pairs, which is what do we have? Sorry, I'll look at the flop. We don't have jack 5 or jack 4 in our range. So our two pairs are going to be just 5-4. So 5s, 4s, and 5-4 look like our pretty much highest equity. And then we go up to the overpairs. 5-4 suited and ace-ace through queen-queen. Now, when I put it into Flopzilla and bring it back, it's going to rearrange things a little bit, but that's okay. Oh, also, during that break, just FYI, I've been doing some video blogs and stuff like that. So I took a break. I finished up my cup of coffee, and I went and did a quick one of my contrast showers. So I went, took a shower, whatever, and then at the end alternated between hot and cold water a few times, and then ended with 2 minutes of cold. And that just gets me before bed. It does a pretty good job of helping you sleep well. But when you do it in the morning and it's light out or whatever, it kind of wakes you up and helps you get alert, especially that 2 minutes of cold water. So now I feel kind of refreshed, alert, ready to go, ready to push through this video. So just a little FYI again, sort of a life study tip. All right, strong value bets. Those look pretty good. And then let's also talk ace-jack offsuit. Ace, I think we can do ace. No, we can't do that. So we can do ace-jack offsuit, king-jack offsuit, and queen-jack offsuit, as well as, it's probably not going to be shorter, ace-jack suited, king-jack suited, and queen-jack suited. So those look like some pretty good strong value bets. Things like jack 10 are definitely strong, but I don't know if they are when I say strong value bets, and I got this kind of from Matthew Janda's videos, he's talking about hands that we're going to be able to bet all three streets with, or could potentially bet all three streets with, and I think those are the hands we can do that with. So let's go ahead, grab that, and I'm going to just throw it into Flopzilla so we can real quick get a combination count. Looks like 62 combos. And just to give an idea, we have 184 combinations that we checked. So 462 minus 184, we want about looking for 278 combos of betting hands, of which we should probably have 66% should be bluffs. Probably, it might even be more than that. I think it's like maybe 66 to 75%. Somewhere in that ballpark should be Bluffs. So that means that once we kind of get through all these, yeah, we need more Bluff. Anyway, okay. So I think those are the strong value bets that we're looking to bet 3 streets. Now, the medium strength value bets, again, we've already kind of put a couple in here because of things discussed in the first video. But here we are going to want, these are hands that we are betting. So I think that we're looking at hands that have value, can get called by worse, but we don't want to check them because either they aren't that susceptible to like overcards or aren't vulnerable to our opponent's folding range, or so we want to bet hands that are vulnerable to our opponent's folding range or can get called by worse and get value and build a bigger pot to win in the future, or a combination of both of those reasons, which it's always going to be some combination of both. Man, my nose is dry. I feel like a sick dog. All right. Let's see here. So our medium strength hands are, well, let's see. A pretty easy one is going to be our 6s through 9s. Do we want to bet all those? Or through 10s? We definitely want to bet 10s because our opponent has all of these hands, which we're a little bit vulnerable to with our 10s. I mean, same with our 9s and such as well. So I think we probably want to bet our 6s through 10s. Our hands like 6-5. We put 6-4 in our checking range. So 6-5, 7-5, 8-5. Again, those are all kind of play similar to 6-5 suited, so we can get a lot of equity to fold when our hand folds out, like Queen 8 with 2 overcards, as well as we could potentially, he could call us with like a 4 or an ace high as a float, and we can build a bigger pot that we're going to potentially win or turn 2 pair and win. And but mostly denying equity of the hands that are going to fold. Queen 8's probably going to fold if we bet here, and we want that with 8-5 suited because he's got 1 in 4 times he's going to win by the river. So we want to prevent that from happening. So we've got the 8-5, 7-5, 6-5, and then we have we don't have that many 4s. Our 3s and 2s we put in our check back range. And our Jack 9 and lower. So we want Jack 10 in here, right? Similar reasons. I don't think we put that in our strong range. So Jack 10, we have both offsuit and Jack 10 suited. Right? So those are good. Take care of that. And then we have 10s through 6s that I think makes sense. And we already put all of these hands in our strong betting range. Now we have hands like ace 5, ace 4, king 5, king 4. Those I think should go in here. Yep, they're in our checking range. Right, because they're a little bit safer to check back with, and they block some of our opponent's overcards. And we can also have our opponent dominated, which is good on the turn and river. So I think those are good check backs. And this is starting to look pretty good. So let's check out how many combinations we've got here. And then we can start looking at draws and finish up this video. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here after this video is completed, and we've got 51 combinations here. Yeah. So now we've got about 113 combos. So that's pretty good, right? So that's like almost, wow. So this is pretty neat that this is working out this well. So 113 divided by 278. So we're looking at, 40. So we said 66% should be bluffs, and we've got a little bit less than that. But I think that's okay. I guess that means we could bluff a little bit more and bet a little bit more often, but I don't think we want to be betting much more than we already are, because we're already betting. I think, what did we say, 60%? Last video we said we were betting 60%, which is plenty. So I think this is okay. All right, we've just got a strong range here, and most of our bets are value. Again, to sort of, lack of a better word, mess with our opponent or whatever, or try to exploit this further, multiple bet sizes would probably be useful, and that would make things even more difficult. But I think we're okay. We're in the ballpark. I'm going to start with this and kind of leave things how they are. We'll fill in the bluffs. But after that, I'm going to go through, watch the video again with just this hand, and check out where the difference is between what Mr. Janda says and what I sort of came up with, and then take a few notes on that. And then I'm going to come back and combine that with Poker Snowy and do some things. Oh, man, I don't want to digress, but let's just play with it just for a second, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. Because let's take a hand. Poker Snowy, like, to me, bets a ton. To me, like, Poker Snowy is just like a C-bet monster. At least in this spot. In this specific spot, there are very few flops where I can find a whole lot of things that Poker Snowy likes to check. Anyway, let's build this flop. So it's the Jack of Hearts, 5 of Spades, 4 of Diamonds. Okay, and now what I want to do is say, remember like one of those hands I thought was a very clear check, the King 5 suited? Let's grab a King 5 suited with, we'll grab the clubs. So I think that's a very clear check. Wait a minute, what's going on here? But Snowy thinks it's a bet. Now, what we can do is look at pot size. Now, if we're betting a full pot, Snowy thinks it's usually a check. I mean, I would pretty much call that always a check. But half pot, Snowy just likes betting a lot half pot. And even this King 5, we can try King 4. So King 4 looks like it's more of a check. Okay, so that's sort of where Snowy draws the line. But I think, and that's something we could look at. What about Ace 4? Ace 4, also a check. Again, if we bet full pot, definitely a check. But you can kind of play with this and see what Snowy thinks of different bet sizes. So if we take a hand that we thought should be like, I mean, pretty much we would bet bigger with our more polarized range. So let's take a hand that's like complete air. So like the 9-6 suited. So this is total air. So it's going to put that in the checking range. But if you bet pot, it becomes, a mixed strategy with betting. So you can, bet if you're going to bet larger. So again, with and this might not be the right example because it's like total garbage, but with some of our range, like the most polarized part of our range, which would be like this 9-6 because it has such low equity, or the things with like really high equity, right? 5.27, 5.97. So it thinks that this is a little better. 9.41, 9.48. So maybe there is no larger bet size needed on this flop, or maybe I'm thinking of doing it with the wrong ranges. Anyway, these are some of the things you can definitely play with. I just wanted to kind of show you an example. So we still haven't really seen a check back. So what about like Ace-9 offsuit, right? Like let's find a hand that Snowy wants to check back. Now, one feature I would like to see, a lot of mixed strategies. Again, here's a check back if we go full pot. So, I mean, technically it recommends a full pot if that's our only bet size on this flop. But I think we're going to have a couple of bet sizes. But ace 9, I think would be a check back. So it kind of agrees there. What about pocket 3s? Pocket 2s? So 2s, if we're betting a full pot, like that's a clear check. Half pot's a mixed strategy. I would say that as long as we're getting a mixed strategy, then I would say our assumptions are pretty good. 3s is interestingly more of a check. So anyway, that's one thing that I'm going to do afterwards is kind of go through and test out some situations, see what Snowy thinks, and see what kind of if we can glean any insight from Poker Snowy with these situations. All right, so what are our easy draws? Let's bring this over here. So we have a bunch of backdoor flush draws. Okay, so those are going to be pretty easy bluffs. So we have 66 of those that are no-made hand. So let's go no-made hand, but a 2-card backdoor flush draw. So these are pretty much all going to be bets, I think. Right, because yeah, I mean those are going to be easy bluffs. The backdoor flush draws, the gut shots. So pretty much, you know, open-ended straight draw, gut shots. I mean, probably some of those overcards are also going to be bet. I mean, we didn't put them in our checking range, so they've got to go in our betting range. And then the backdoor flush draws. So those are the easy bluffs that we have. And then we've got about 100 hands that are no-made hand and don't have, you know, a backdoor flush draw that aren't any of these things. And those are the what we would call the crap bluffs. So pretty much like just the stuff to fill out our bluffing range that are potentially only going to be bluffed on the flop, and then they're just going to be check folded on the river, or, you know, folded to a bet, or checked back, and we'll give up with those if they don't improve. So those are our, you know, our 9-6 suited without the backdoor flush draw. Are like, I mean, 9-8 suited is a 3-card straight, so that one is like okay. Or sorry, 9-8 suited is has a few turns that can help it improve, right? But it just doesn't have very much equity, so it makes a good bluff, but it has robust equity. Same with like 10-9, all those hands that kind of have like some robust equity, but very low equity are the hands that we want to be bluffing with. So let me think what the easiest way to actually write out this range is. Because I don't know if there's a good way to like put a range in, and then what I'd like to do is be able to be like, all right, this range minus this range equals that. And that's what we would put in. But for right now, I don't want to do this on video, but this is how I would do it. I would kind of look and figure out what the easy draws are. I would filter for these. Let me see what this prints out. I don't know if there's a good way to print out. Do any of you guys know how to do this to actually... Oh, accept? What did that do? Filter, delete, apply to all? What is that? I don't know what this does. So yeah, I'm not sure how to like filter and grab a range other than, oops. Oh, I can. I don't know. All right, well, so pretty much the only way to do this is to type it all out, which is, I think, a little bit time consuming, and I don't know that it really benefits us that much, but we can talk. So, I mean, we can pretty much say that, like, You know, backdoor flush draws, the gut shots, three card, three card straight flushes, which are also backdoor flush draws, but I'm also talking about the. So I guess we can get rid of backdoor flush draws. Those are like the easy bluffs and draws. The open-ended straight draw, which is I think 7-6. 7-6 suited. We don't. Where the heck are flush draws? Like normal flush draws. Oh, it's a rainbow. It's a rainbow board. There are no flush draws. Okay. So yeah, those are going to be that, and then if we look at, you know, no made hand that's not ace high, those are going to be like our crap bluffs, right? A lot of those. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know that. So some of those are going to go here, some of them are going to go here. We will want to bet the ones with more robust equity. Again, I can't. I would have to like look at this and click each one, I guess, to get a printout of I don't know. Hopefully somebody can tell me in the comments what the heck these do. I want to just get this range. And I don't know. Clear all, apply to all, filter. Okay. Delete. I don't know what that does. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure what to do there. But, yes, that's... Why? How are these deleted? I guess it's just putting like them all in this filter, but I don't know what that's really doing for me. So if anyone has any tips on that, that's the only thing I can't really get Flopzilla to do, is give me that range, like a filtered range. So that is something I would like to figure out. But those are the easy bluffs, and then the crap bluffs that we're going to use are the ones either with so like robust equity would be like 9-7, even though it has, you know, almost no equity. The equity it does have is kind of robust, right? Like a 6 gives us an open-ended straight with 9-7. A 3 gives us a gut shot, and those hands will likely win. But it's like not going to happen very often, and it's a good hand to bluff with because we're not worried. Like if we get raised, it's fine. We're not like folding out a ton of equity. But if we hit occasionally, our hand is likely to be good and will win. And then obviously anytime our opponent folds when we have 9 high, we probably got him to fold a bet, you know, very often he'll be folding a better hand with more equity than ours. And so that's a good result. So that's the hands that we want to be betting with. Whereas the bluffs that we're checking with, we want sort of a combination of different bluffs. We want a few bluffs that are going to be able to fold. So we may want some complete crap in that range also that we can just fold. And then we want to look at things that might have some blockers. So again, if we kind of filter our no-made hand. So like if we looked at no-made hand and we were like likely future bluffs, we could probably put like 60 of them in this range and 100 in this range. Something like that. And we would just have to divide them up. So I may do that off stream and then make a final video after I kind of come back and do a really quick, like maybe 5 or 10 minute summary of this. But that's basically what we want to do. So I think I'm going to wrap this up because I don't know how much more I can talk about this Jack 5-4 rainbow board. So I am going to watch this on video, see what Matthew Janda says about all these situations, maybe jot down just a couple notes in the general thoughts and observations, and then just go through and see if Poker Snowy agrees with some of the things he says, some of the things that I think, and I'll just do a quick like part 3 wrap-up video of this hand, and in that video I will have listed all of these, and I'll explain why I put the different types of bluff in each range. But I'm not going to list these out on video because I think it's going to be a little bit too clunky and painful to do. So this video was a little shorter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We got through our betting range, and we talked about our ratios and how often we would be betting on this flop. So our betting frequency, I believe we worked out to about 60%, which I think is correct, right? We said 40% frequency was checking, which means... last thing we should do is put our range in. Okay. Oh, so I think this is... And what did I do here? I put frequency, so... So we've got our frequency, our combinations, and our bluff percentage. Here's what should be bluffs. What we ended up with for bluffs was less, right? We ended up with only like 60%, but let's grab this range and we'll throw it in to Flopzilla. What happened? Oh, Queen Jack. So that should be Queen Jack suited and Queen Jack offsuit. Should be both. And that is our value betting range, and we can see that they range from like 90% equity to like 65, 70% equity. But we're not betting hands that are like, 50% equity usually, because those hands, we don't accomplish a lot by betting with hands like that. So 113 combos are there. So let's just I think we already did this, but clear. So 278 minus 113 is 165 that are bluffs. Where to put this? So value is 113, bluffs 165 divided by 278. So yeah, about 60%. All right, I think that is a pretty good start for our first hand. I will start getting better at these and faster as we go. But you can see how much you learn from doing this. At least I can. I learn a lot going through and doing this. And even if it doesn't apply to every hand I play, there's definitely a lot of just in general, here's what I'm doing in position. Here's what I need to think about when checking back. And the more I go through and practice this, the more I'm going to recognize like, oh, I think I want to check back here with king 4 and not bet it. And that might seem really obvious, but there's also reasons where I might want to bet 6-5 or 6-4 here, or check them back. Again, we decided to check back 6-4, which is probably fine, but we probably want to bet 6-5, whereas we probably may want to consider checking back king 5. And I think that those are close enough, but if you understand why you're doing it, it's going to make you play better, play more confidently, and not have to think about every single situation. Like when you are in position, somebody checks to you and you've got king 5 suited, it's not the most obvious thing whether to bet or check. A lot of people would be like, oh, you're not getting value from much worse, so you don't bet it. But there may be reasons to bet it, and there may be reason to check it, and you want to know the difference between if you want to bet or check king 5 and if you want to bet or check 6-5. And I think a lot of people would probably play those both the same and just check back, and I think that they should be played differently. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe. I'm going to be doing more of these, and they will hopefully get less and less painful as we go. But, I mean, watch, you know, if you guys have card runners, like watch Matthew Janda's videos on these. I mean, he kind of bumbles his way through a little bit as well, and I enjoy watching that because it makes me feel better about me doing it. I mean, he wrote a 500-page book on poker that is, like, one of the most popular books on poker, and he still, like, kind of struggles with this. Not struggles, but, like, he still has to think things through and figure things out. And, you know, the same thing with his live play videos. He's still unsure of a lot of situations. So I think watching people do this and like realizing how much work goes in away from the tables is good. Hope you guys liked it. Stay tuned for the summary video, which will be much shorter in the future, either today or tomorrow. All right, guys, this is U-Rounder. Keep on grinding, keep on studying, and I will see you guys later.